And welcome back to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from, what's the name? Kevin Reeder? I believe that was the name already. One of the two. I kind of butchered the writing there. Who asked the question, who would win a fight, the Megazord versus Godzilla? Now, obviously, there are God knows how many Megazords out there. So when you just say the Megazord, I am just going to go with the idea you're talking about the original Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Megazord. The Megazord right there. Because otherwise we'll be here all day, me going over every single incarnation of the Megazord, including the multiples that just the original set of Rangers got. Because there's also the Thunder Megazord that they got later on. There was another Megazord, I believe, later on in that series as well. And then you go into the other, like in space, Jungle Fear, like all those. So there are God knows how many versions of the Megazord out there. But let's talk about the original. The original Megazord was a combination of the lion, not the saber-toothed tiger, the mastodon, the pterodactyl, triceratops, and tyrannosaurus. Together, their powers combined to create the Megazord, a powerful mecha kaiju destroying entity, co-piloted by every one of the Rangers, working in unit together or in tandem together to defeat their opponent. It mostly moved in real time because obviously it's an actor in suit, but by all accounts, it moved in real time. And was again controlled by each individual ranger. Now, in some of the, depending on the media you look at, like in the most recent movie they did, they actually had to move in tandem with each other. They literally had to basically kind of sync up in a way. It's like, okay, I'm going left, you're going right. Let's do this, let's do that. I never knew if that was quite what was going on. It did seem kind of like that. But the Megazord is usually brought in to deal with giant monsters, and it usually does the job very well. Capable of just punching a monster straight off the ground multiple feet, or multiple hundreds of feet technically in the air. That's a lot of strength it has. It would have to do that. It wields its what was it? I don't remember what it's called, but the sword it wields. It wields a sword which can be used to recharge the Megazord. It can use the Mastodon's head as a shield. It can, which apparently can still use the Mastodon's frost breath. It can fire this energy laser from the crown on its head, and it's generally the last resort option for any of the Rangers, and really only used in combat against giant kaiju creature beings. Now, with all the wins it racked up, and it racked up a lot of wins, it was not an infallible creation. Its connection to the morphing grid could be overloaded, it could be damaged, it could be put down. It, if I'm not mistaken, lost straight out to Serpentera, or that might have been one of the other Zords. But anything on like a planetary level, which Serpentera was, the Megazord is not capable of handling levels of that power like that, or very specific abilities, like abilities that are designed to drain energy, or abilities that are designed to bind him up. Unless he's got, like, say, the dragons are there to help out, he could be in serious trouble. And that lies the problem with putting him up against Godzilla. Now, let me just be very clear about one thing about the Megazord, at least the standard Mighty Morphin Megazord. The size. I want to know the size, because it's depicted as being taller than most buildings, and we're talking about skyscrapers. But it's also shown to be in Japan in the American dub, or in the American version of it. So, maybe it's, not everything is 100%. Okay, the Megazord. Okay, no, they do not give a height or weight or anything like that. Well, that's actually not true. They do give a weight. Okay, here we go. There's no length or width, but a height is 41 meters tall. Okay, 41 meters tall. Let me just get the quick meters to feet thing here. Meters to feet. So that puts the original Megazord at about 130 feet tall, 34 feet tall. Even the smallest version of Godzilla sizes, hold on. And I'm not even going to try to get into weight here, because 150 tons, 570 tons, great. Godzilla weighs in the hundreds of thousands of tons. So, but hold on. Godzilla size chart. Godzilla size chart. Okay. Where is that thing? All right, here we go. Even the smallest version of Godzilla, excuse me, there it is. Even the smallest versions of Godzilla, not taking into account with that imperfect shin form, we would be looking at all like the main versions of Godzilla. The smallest versions of Godzilla are about 10 meters taller than than the Megazord. That's the Showa era. The Showa era at its smallest is 10 meters taller than it. The Heisei era at its smallest is is almost twice as tall as the Megazord. Zilla, for F's sake, is almost 30 meters taller than the Megazord. Now, the Millennium series versions of Godzilla vary, but they're still not smaller than the original, like the Showa era. The smallest ones are still taller, and the Millennium series Godzilla got nutty, surviving absolute zero, black holes to the face. But then you get into the freaking Legendary series Godzilla that is nearly 3 times taller. Shin Godzilla, for God's sake. And then that's not even talking about Godzilla Earth, who literally dwarfs him. So on just a size, just in a size category alone here, Godzilla is completely outclassing the Megazord in just sheer size and power. That's not even taking into account a atomic breath weapon or any other breath weapon. And then that's not even taking into account all the outlier feats depending on the version you're using. Showa era is probably the speediest among them, able to launch himself with his breath off the ground. He's also apparently a boxer, but he's also the smallest among them, so maybe. But if you go into Heisei era, you're talking about a guy who went toe-to-toe with Planet Eaters multiple times, Planet Destroyers multiple times, and then went into radioactive mode against Kaiju Satan, and almost would have burned down the entire planet. And then going, like I said, in the Millennium series, you're dealing with a Godzilla who could destroy an entire city with just his breath alone, tanked a black hole to the face, tanked a absolute zero weapon to the face. Was able to go toe-to-toe with, took a meteor that was going to destroy the planet, I believe, an extinction level event meteor to the face after blasting it with his atomic breath to a certain degree and just like bring it on. Then you go into Shin Godzilla, who I'll admit, though he's much larger than the Megazord, could maybe be the easiest one because it's the least combat prepared. It's the least combat experienced of all the Godzillas. So that one, you can make an argument. But if that thing hits them with its nuclear breath, which when is that, like finite laser form, or just that smoke that just engulfed the entire city, the Megazord's done after that. And it just kept adapting. And then you got Legendary Godzilla, who could tank a nuke to the face, survive a fall from atmosphere, hitting terminal velocity, blew a hole through the center of the planet, and was able to take on numerous kaiju at once. So, and then there's also Godzilla Earth, who is literally connected to the damn planet and has a literal force field around it. Basically collapsed in black holes with its atomic breath. And it's basically just, and I can keep going on. There's the comic version of Godzilla. There's the game versions of Godzilla. There's the other anime, which Godzilla Ultima, which I never really watched. The Megazord is just completely outclassed in terms of level of power, size, strength, all that. It's just, I think this is really mismatched. Like, the Megazord would maybe try. The Megazord would do its best. Probably could get a cut in on a couple of them. Maybe blast of energy, but as soon as Godzilla's like, yeah, I'm not playing anymore, Megazord's done. It's either going to hit it with a radioactive blast, which just destroys the Megazord, or it's just going to use its bulk, especially in the bigger versions, to just completely overwhelm the thing. So unfortunately, for you Megazord fans out there, I apologize, but I got to go Godzilla in this fight. Yeah, I do kind of wish it were different, but alas, that is not the case in my opinion. So yeah, I would have to go Godzilla. But who do you have in this fight? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think there's a legitimate way the Megazord could beat any of the versions of Godzilla? Showa era and maybe Zilla are the only ones I think it could stand a legit shot against. Particularly Zilla. Zilla might be the one it could actually outright defeat. But otherwise, I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, who wants to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. And I'll see you folks later.